Hey y'all, we're Alec and Cindy, and we're sharing the journey. And as if most of y'all who know us or have watched our videos, y'all know that we are full-time work campers, and we travel the country work camping from place to place. We had a little something going on in this campground that reminded us, and I say this campground, it's happened at a ton of campgrounds, but it happened this week. And it reminded us of one of the biggest misgivings. Misconceptions, as Cindy would call it, about work camping. And I call it kind of a pet peeve of mine. And we'll explain to you what it is. So I'll give you how this came about. So we are upgrading the... what are they called? Those little things we were putting on?
Backflow protectors.
We were upgrading the backflow protectors. I have such a short memory span. I can't remember anything. Backflow protectors.
Didn't you say getting older?
Yep. Backflow protectors on the campground. We had about 200 of them that needed replaced. So that's what we were doing. So we first went around the campground and replaced all the ones that were on empty sites, because that was the easiest and quickest, and I would say was 2/3 of the ones that needed done. And then we went camper to camper and started replacing the backflows that were on the sites that were 5 or 6 years old and were getting kind of gunky, or they didn't have them at all. So we would go knocking on the doors and say, hey, you know, this is Alec, and I was with another camper, and we're here to upgrade your backflow preventer. So I'm gonna turn your water off and disconnect your hoses for a few minutes. We're gonna install the new backflow preventer, and then we'll hook you back up and turn you back on. I'll let you know when we're done. And most people, okay, thank you, have a nice day, blah, blah, blah. But you get the, I don't know if entitled is the right word. You get the superior being that feels like that they are definitely above you in life and can talk to you or treat you in a way that most people would consider would be disrespectful, but would definitely be belittling. And so, you know, this gentleman said, it's inconvenient at this time. My wife is doing the dishes. I said, okay, we'll do your neighbors and we'll come back. Well, how long is that going to be? I said, it literally takes 5 minutes. I said, if you already have water in your fresh water tank, could you switch over to your pump? And he started all this, well, you know, you don't understand what we're going through and what we're doing or who we are or anything that would, like, you know, we're inconveniencing them. They're too important of a person to be inconvenienced. Am I explaining this very well?
Yeah, that's fine.
And kind of just made me feel like, or treated me like I was a second-class citizen, like maybe I was a crackhead from the temporary service, you know, downtown, and I had me a day labor job, and I was just, I don't know, it rubbed me the wrong way. And then I would say not 2 weeks before this happened, Cindy had a lady come in that was buying a used RV.
Okay, well, it doesn't even matter that it was a used RV. It is a nice RV.
It is a nice RV, but she's buying an RV.
They had just sold, let me give you some background. They had just sold their house and had decided to downsize, and they were going to buy a piece of property in this area and purchase an RV to put on this piece of land. And she came in needing to rent a monthly spot, you know, for the time being until they could get a cement pad poured and all that stuff to get there. So she had come in and was trying to do a long-term spot for a couple of months until they could get their property ready for the RV, you know, get a cement pad poured and that sort of thing. So we were talking, and she, you know, giving her all the details about it, and we're explaining how much it was. Oh, well, I'm not worried about the price. We're probably the richest homeless people you know.
First of all, none of us that full time are homeless. We live in our home that we move from place to place. And then a couple of days later...
Well, wait a minute. So that kind of bothers me when people act like that. Well, first of all, it doesn't matter, in my opinion, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter to me what the price of your RV is. I mean, none of that matters. We're all human beings and should be treated as such.
Right.
Not that, you know, any one person is any better than another. Now, when people do that, that just rubs me the wrong way, and I don't appreciate
like
it.
She's got all this money and y'all are just poor little work campers that, you know, I hope your $2 tin can you're living in is, I mean, that's the way people come across.
Right. And that she was a better class of person than I was.
Right. And then fast forward a week, they have broken several rules in the campground, and the husband came in, and Cindy proceeded to nicely, I was heard the story from another work camper. You proceeded nicely.
I just very nicely confirmed that he was the guest that was on site number whatever, and asked, you know, he had had several visitors in the park, and I knew one of them had been his son, and I just made the comment, how did I phrase it? I see that y'all have had some visitors.
We were wondering how many people were coming to visit.
Right. We need to know. They need to check in at the office and let us know when they're here visiting so that we can give them a car tag to put in their vehicle so we know that the vehicle belongs on site. That's a pretty common practice at most campgrounds. You should always check in at the office, get some sort of a car tag, so that outside people know that it's not just some random person driving through the campground.
And one of their guests went on a vacant site, parked, plugged in their electric vehicle, and just several
and for those of y'all out there who do not realize, because there are a lot of people that do not realize, and they think campgrounds are just being sticklers about the rule of not plugging your electric vehicle into an RV stanchion. Campgrounds are not being hard to get along with. They, honestly, those RV stanchions are not made to charge an electric vehicle.
And
they are not set up to charge an electric vehicle.
And the campground we're working at right now charges for electricity. So
right. And then we're on a vacant site,
plugged in,
trying to do so,
using electricity. So anyway, my wife, fast forward a little bit because we're trying to keep this video under 15 minutes, is that my wife's explaining this to him, and he just walks out the door. While she's still talking to him, he just backs his way out the door like, you know, I've heard enough from you, lady. Bye, Felicia. you know? And that's...
Like he didn't need to listen to me.
So I guess that what we're trying to say is there's a number of circumstances that happen through the campground where people, like if you become a work camper, you know, like I'm a retired police commander from a major metropolitan city in South Carolina. My wife was a homemaker. She homeschooled our 6 kids, and she's a retired private investigator, owned our own business.
But before I was a homemaker, I worked at a bank for 5 years.
She was a vault teller and a front teller. We're not stupid people. We've had careers. I've got a retirement. We live in a very nice motorhome. And it just really aggravates me when people look at us and
like
treat us like uneducated second-class citizens. What they need to understand is that all of us are work camping for a reason.
And by choice.
By choice. We're not some day laborer who just happened upon the campground and got a job cutting grass or cleaning the pool or putting on your backflow protector. We're doing this because we're retired. We want something to do. A little extra money's nice for anybody. We like the benefits of free or reduced campsite, free or reduced electricity. You know, all the benefits that we get from a work camping. I've got a really decent retirement, you know, so I didn't say great. I've got a really decent retirement. In 3 years, we'll have Social Security, but we'll still keep work camping on our terms, because if you sit on the sofa all day, you're just gonna die. And so we like to be active. Now, we'll cut down our work week when we get a little bit more money, but we're doing this. I mean, we could really struggle and get by on our retirement. We wouldn't move around as much. We wouldn't do as much, but we could do it. We're work camping because we want to.
And most work campers, that's the case.
Right. We worked with a work camper in South Carolina, was a retired doctor who was bored on the road.
Yeah, I mean, we've met journeyman electricians. We've met some very prominent professional people that, you know, have just chose to do this, to slow down and enjoy life instead of the rat race. And I think a lot of people have a little bit of a misconception of full-time RV living.
Yes.
I met a couple, the wife was a doctor, and I learned a misconception about doctors this week. We were talking about full-time RV living as she was checking in and just having a real nice conversation. And we were talking about selling our houses, and she was telling me how she used to have this humongous house. You know, it was just...
had its own private theater.
Oh, yeah, just all the bells and whistles, several stories, just huge, and how she never needed that much house.
Didn't want that much house,
right.
Ever.
Didn't even want that much of a house, but had it, because I didn't know this, if a doctor gets sued, and thank goodness she never did, you know, but she said in case of an incident, or if a doctor were to ever get sued, yes, they have all this malpractice insurance and all of this, but they could sue them, you know, for what they're worth in their bank account, and they've worked hard and had lots of education to get there, that their one investment where they could put their money that people could not take away from them
was protected if they got sued.
Was their house.
Well, that guy almost threw his dog off the back of that golf cart.
So that You know, a lot of people have misconceptions about doctors. I don't know if it's the same for lawyers, that they have these big, huge houses because they're trying to show how flashy and how much better they are than everybody else. Well, I found out this week that's not the case.
And they live full-time in their Sprinter van.
In a small little
Class B
van
with their dog, and they are loving life. So this whole rant and stuff, I guess you could call it a rant, is that, you know, we talk a lot about on this channel about work camping and full-time RV life. And we love work camping, we love full-time RV life, and we express this love by portraying how wonderful it is. But there are issues, and one of the issues you need to be prepared for is that people don't care what you did before. You could have owned your own hotel and you could be worth millions of dollars. But when you put on that work camping shirt and you go out there, they don't care that you're living in a Prevost motorhome worth more than theirs or anything. All they see as the guy that used to work at McDonald's, not there's anything wrong with McDonald's, but used to work a minimal job with little experience and low pay, continuing that because they have to, not knowing that 95% of us are professionals that choose to do this because we enjoy it. This is our next life, and we're living our best next life that we can.
Well, and this is my big thing, and I've always been big about it. And my parents and grandparents.
But she's not always been big.
Wow. Is you should always treat everybody you meet with respect. That is one of my biggest things. Anyone you meet, whether they're short, curt, rude, be nice to them. They could be having a really bad day and they just need a smiling face and someone who cares.
Yep.
To be nice. And a lot of times it changes their attitude immediately. Treat each and every person you come in contact with respect. We're all deserving of respect. I don't care if you are a homeless bum on the side of the road living in a cardboard box. You deserve respect because we don't know that person's story and what put them there.
That's right.
Or how they went about, what happened in their life that's how they've chosen to live now. We are all deserving of respect and kindness.
So that's our rant or our work camping
that's
update.
Our preaching for today.
Yeah, Cindy gets on her high horse. So if y'all do us a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, all those good things. It helps the channel. And also listed down below is our Amazon affiliate link if you want to help us with a little bit of gas down the road. It doesn't cost you anything and we get a small percentage of what you buy. Until next week, y'all stay safe out there and happy camping.